All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to welcome you to our very first business-focused webinar. And my name is Winston. I'm from Simply Computing, and I'll be your host this afternoon. We are Simply Computing. We at Simply are very excited to partner with Kensington for this webinar. Our speaker this afternoon is an expert at workplace wellness programming, where she knows the benefit of changing work habits, behaviors, and introducing ergonomic equipment in a day-to-day work lives for people. She has completed over 6,000 ergonomic assessments in offices, labs, healthcare settings, government, education, and has worked with people of all ages. Folks, there will be a fire hose of information that we can learn from her, and we are very fortunate to have her with us today. Let me introduce our speaker for this afternoon, Kensington's Lisa Skytobor Schuler. Take it away, Lisa.
Thank you, and great job on the pronunciation. I know it's a tough one there, so good job on that. As he mentioned, my name is Lisa Skytobor Schuler. I am the ergo expert for Kensington, and today I want to walk you through something a lot of us have been faced with in working from home, and how in the world do we do it efficiently, productively, and really get ourselves set up for success. So the big question is, why am I allowed to talk to you about ergonomics? Basically, I do have a certification to be an ergonomic assessment specialist. As it was mentioned, I do have over 10 years experience in thousands of office assessments under my belt, making recommendations for people that are either preventatively looking for recommendations to improve their setup of their desk at work or at their home office now. As well as if someone's been injured in the office or outside of the office and just needs something to help them be a little bit more comfortable. I currently serve as Kensington's Ergo category manager on a global perspective. I'm personally based in the US, but I serve all of our regions and love seeing what's going on around the world. The reason I got into ergonomics is I was actually in 5 car accidents in 2 years and royally messed up my back. And I had done a lot of research on how in the world I could be in my 20s at that time and early 20s and still have a full career ahead of me. And ergonomics kept coming up. So I dove into how I could be involved in that industry, became certified, and really changed my career to mold to this. And lastly, even pre-COVID, I was working from home too 24/7. And so I'm living and breathing the same experience that you are today and some of your customers as well. So an important thing to look at is in the past, pre-COVID, and all of these statistics are actually pre-COVID, only 5% of the US, which is a similar statement for Canada as well, worked from home 1 or more days a week. Presently, there's still no solid data about what percentage of people are working from home. We know it's a lot. And in the future, again, this was pre-COVID that this statistic was founded, that 1/3 of our workforce would be working at least 1 day a week from home by 2022. And we really estimate it probably closer to 50 to 70% will be working from home at least 1 or more days a week in the future and ongoing. So how often has this been you, or you're talking to people that this is the type of setup they're looking at? All these people look a little too happy to be working off just their laptop. And so we look at some of the postures that they're in and understanding what that can do for you over time when you're constantly looking down at your laptop or leaning onto your desktop space. And there's certainly some accessories that can complement your setup and make you a lot more comfortable. So the areas to look at are in 4 main areas, and it would start with your neck area. So you always want to make sure that your laptop or external screen is nice and eye level for you, as well as a full arm's length away. Secondly, if you look at your low back, you want to make sure that it's using the support that's built into the chair, or if there's not support, that's an area we need to look at. You also want to keep your arms close to your body and not what I call winging out like a chicken or something like that, or leaning really far forward, as you'll start hunching and getting a lot of tension in your neck and shoulders. And then into your wrist area, you want to make sure that the keyboard is nice and flat. The mouse should be on the same surface, not on your lap with something else up on the desktop, and making sure that it's low so you're not angling upwards to get to your keyboard and mouse or resting on the desk edge. We can certainly look at solutions for that. And then lastly, but certainly not least, looking at your footrest, you should always be supported by the floor or a solid object. And so footrests aren't just for short people, but they're for people to get support to help lean back into your chair or to maybe have some movement incorporated into your workday. So these are, again, some pretty typical setups that we're seeing on a day-to-day basis of people trying to work from home. They were sent home with just their laptop, or maybe they're just working for fun from home. But either way, there's a lot of accessories that can come into play here that would be really helpful. So the first is a backrest. Most people don't have a really nice, ergonomic, very well supported chair at home, and they're working with maybe a wooden kitchen chair or these lovely modern chairs that are just made out of a couple little pieces of wire or plastic. And so adding support of some sort of backrest is really important. We have one called the Conform backrest that you'll see a picture of. And I have a funny story around that too. And then if you look at the seat cushion, most kitchen chairs, unless you have maybe a luxury model, are not padded, nor are some of those really nice modern looking office chairs. So having a nice padded seat cushion that helps sit you against the back of your chair is certainly helpful there. And again, the footrest, getting yourself supported to lean back into that chair is definitely important to really start your posture in a neutral position and keep you in a neutral as well as constantly moving position with a rotating or rocking type footrest. And then lastly, in this type of setup, but certainly the most important, is the laptop riser, which would get your laptop up to a nice eye level position. But as soon as you get your computer up on a laptop riser, and whether that is an actual laptop riser, which is my first and foremost recommendation, or if it's a different type of object that's getting your screen up to the appropriate level, you still should not be using your keyboard or mouse on your, or keyboard or touchpad on your laptop. You need to move off of it with an external keyboard and an external mouse to keep your arms close to your body so that you can stay in a neutral position. And then to add to the comfort, which this is a tip I used when I was traveling a lot and having to work in a hotel, the kitchen table typically is a little bit higher than your standard desktop. And we end up resting our wrist right on the edge of that. And that really causes a flare up quickly in our carpal tunnel area, which is that area just below the palm of your hand. And it's one of the most well-known and most common ergonomic injuries out there. But by using something like a wrist rest, you're able to pad that surface and alleviate a lot of the potential swelling you could get in that carpal tunnel. So that happens in every type of setup. You've got risk factors everywhere. And we want to make sure that you're aware of what you can really do in some really cost-effective solutions to accessorize and be so much more comfortable. So I do want to point out some of the products that we do have here today. The laptop riser is called the Easy Riser, and that's a really great portable solution, as well as if you're returning to work. And this is a solution that's good for the here, now, and into the future. And then thinking about moving off the actual laptop keyboard and mouse, having a mouse like the SureTrack, which is super slim, comes in a lot of fun colors, and then having a keyboard to go with it is certainly key. And you definitely want it to be a portable size too. The next items down are two of the wrist rests. There's tons of them out there. These are called ErgoSoft. And I can tell you as a tip too, if you hear anything I'm talking about today that you're interested in, take a quick note, and then I'll have an email address that you can contact us at the end for more information on any specific products. And then lastly, in the bottom left, we have the Conform backrest. I've heard this nicknamed a lot of different things, but my favorite is the angel wings, or the lungs, as it breathes life into people, or as an angel wings that it really saved the person because it was so supportive with the mesh back on it. And so it's something to really consider to add to that kitchen table. People have used them in their car even, to really up that support that you get in your back. So some couple quick tips there is make sure you do have support with your back from the conform backrest, or if it's built into your chair. Get that monitor or laptop to eye level. Don't rest your wrist on the edge of the desktop. You want to rest them on something soft. And really those wrist rests should be on the fatty part or the bottom base part of our palm so that our carpal tunnel area stays free of any type of compression. Another big tip is don't let your keyboard and mouse run away. What typically happens here is when you have a keyboard and mouse set up, throughout the day, you start to get tired, you lean forward, and that keyboard and mouse ends up going a little bit further forward on the desktop. And so you want to make sure that you keep them planted towards the edge of the desk so that you yourself are leaning into the support of your chair. And sometimes easier said than done, you should be getting up at least one time per hour to reset, even if it's just standing up and then sitting down. The other popular scenario for people that are not just having a laptop, but they do have an external monitor in addition, is getting that nice setup, but there's a lot of things that can go wrong with that. If you look at the picture below, if you have your monitor to the right and your laptop to the left, you're constantly going to be moving your neck back and forth and never able to be at rest. Now, some people may say that's movement, but what I see is neck strain happening. So you want to make sure that you pick one monitor to be your primary monitor and square up so you're looking directly at that, and using that secondary screen as something like an electronic document holder. How we used to be reviewing everything on paper, now we're glancing over to that laptop or secondary screen in order to get that information there without having to look at it back and forth constantly. Some of the products that we can use in here to help ourselves out is something a little unique. There's something called the WellView series, which the top left is the Cool View. So you can actually have a cooling fan coming out on your desktop, which may not be the greatest thing in the winter unless you live in a really, really heated room. But wow, it is so great in the summer or having that nice flow of air going through just to keep yourself refreshed. Or there's different types of laptop risers that maybe are a little bit more stationary than the one I showed you before. And this one actually has Qi charging built into it, so you can charge your phone and stay productive throughout the workday. I bring up the backrest again because I think that's something that has been asked for so many times throughout the pandemic times that people are really suffering without that proper ergonomic back support there. And then the keyboard and mouse, even though they may look a little bit funny, they actually help you type faster and are more productive, as well as a more natural shape for your hands and your wrists to be in. The vertical mouse, which is the mouse that's shown with that slightly curved keyboard there, with that, you're able to keep yourself mousing in a fluid motion, and it's very easy for our brains to adapt to that vertical motion because you still have a left click and a right click and a scroll in the center. And then at the bottom, you have a nice rocking footrest. It's actually called the Soulmate because it's something for our souls, but we can actually keep using it and we'll want to come back to it because it is a wide, large platform and we're able to rock and have that motion throughout the day to continuously help that blood flow go through our body. And so some of the tips here, again, are making sure you're getting up throughout the at least once an hour and picking that monitor to be your primary screen. And I know from consulting, people will say, I use both of them the exact same amount of time. Pick a primary, even if it's 51% for one and 49% for the other, and pick one to look at throughout the day. So at least 51% of your day, you're in a neutral position looking at that screen, and then the other half would be looking at the secondary. So I've talked about some different ergonomic products that we have, and we have a unique system called Smart Fit System. Ergonomics can be a little bit scary or challenging if you've never been in that space before, or maybe someone recommended something for you and you're scared it may not be the right fit for you. But rest assured, Kensington has the Smart Fit system built into many of our ergonomic products. And what that means is this hand that's shown in the bottom left comes as a diagram in the packaging for these Smart Fit products. And you place your hand on that diagram, and wherever your hand falls within that color, I personally am right around that blue or purplish color. I look at the top of my middle finger, and then I can go actually adjust my product to that same simple color-coded spot, and it's fit perfectly for me. Now, people wonder, how in the world does this happen? And we got this based off Army data that actually showed different statures of people correlated directly to our hand size based on their height, based on their shoulder width, based on several different factors. We were able to simplify it into 4 different colors for the Smart Fit system. So most of our products that we have are designed very well, and they do fit into lots of different office situations. But one of the things that people have said to me in the past is that I don't want to clutter at my desk with ergonomic products, but they don't have to be ugly. As you can see here, all of these products fit really nicely into the scene. I would be happy to have them on my desk and in my home. And my personal desk for my work from home station fits directly in the middle of my living room because I don't want to be in a specific room with a door and not see anything or have any activity. So it really has to blend in with my decor, but also serve the purpose of being ergonomic. So I know that there's a lot of products out there to choose from, but I want to challenge you to think of what areas do you or customers that might be having ergonomic problems have? And what do you think that their needs are as far as, are they having more wrist issues? Are they having more neck issues? Whatever that might be. And think of those products that would really help you or those customers out. And to add on to the ergonomics doesn't have to be an ugly thing, and they can be quite pleasing to the eye. We have a brand new product coming out that did recently win the CES Innovation Award called the Studio Dock. And so what this is able to do is you're able to connect your iPad Pro and you're able to charge it and create that dock experience. And then you can go create and have this beautiful setup. It's getting the iPad up to a nice eye level position, as well as a better position to be using the pencil with it. And you're still able to have a nice cleaned up and productive workspace there. So I want to leave you with this. We've talked about a lot of products there, and products are great, and I highly recommend all of the things that we talked about today. But in addition to products, you really need to keep moving your body to get the most out of those and to be the best fit person that you can be. So as a follow-up to this, through Simply, there will be a resource available that is a stretch guide, and it's a free resource that's available that has simple exercises you can do, whether you're in your office clothes or if you're in your work from home clothes, which many of us are in. You don't need any special equipment. They're very quick to complete, but based on the 20-20-20 rule, which means every 20 minutes, you should ideally be looking away for 20 seconds and 20 feet or a long distance away. Those are important things to incorporate into your day to really ensure that you're getting the least fatigued, moving around the most, and really helping reduce the number of days off that you may have for an ergonomic injury, or helping customers know that they're getting the most out of it. So I thank you for your time today. I do want to make sure that you are aware that if you have any questions today, we are happy to answer them. And you can email business.support@simply.ca, or you can contact your Simply Computing account manager for different pricing and orders. And I encourage you to check out kensington.com, as we're always posting new blogs on trending ergo topics, as well as all of our social media. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Lisa, for sharing your insights and recommendations with us this afternoon. For our audience, if you do have any questions about the presentation, you can post them on the Q&A down below. And if you have any questions about how to order or the pricing for any products shown earlier, As Lisa said, you could contact your Simply Business account manager, or you can send an email to business.support@simply.ca.